understood that it is collected, or it is the ideas are gathered from a lot of different resources.
Yep.
And this for me is where the challenge or the difficulty lies, because um, I, as a person, like to have a framework or a solid or you understand my point? I
Yeah, of
need
course. Yeah.
to know a track to work on, or to go through. Okay, that's
Okay.
the thing I understood about the subject.
Yes, and this is the main thing that actually, motivated me to make this webinar and to be open to everyone, so everyone can understand how this subject specifically work, because it's an unusual way. It's different from the framework. We create our own framework. So yes, I know this is the biggest challenge for everyone, and even for the students. I
Mhm.
understand for the students, if they know about the subject, they will find out that it is very interesting, very engaging. They will work on it mostly independently with the guidance of the teacher. And also in the secondary stage, it is an easy target to get some good marks. So I assume we can start now, and this will be recorded, and I will discuss with my school if it will be posted on the YouTube channel. So I'll have to mute you for a while. I'll finish my presentation and then I'll open it again. So hello everyone again. My name is Aichyne Mohamed, and currently I work at ALS, Alexandria International School, in the IG department. I'm a mother of two. Previously, I was a PYP coordinator. I worked within different systems, and I'm a curriculum developer too. So let's start, inshallah. So for this subject, it is a project-based. Let's start with the definition coming from Cambridge. It is a project-based and a research-based subject. So how we work on it and how we cover, this is something that we're going to be discovering in our presentation. Okay, let me just share this. Okay. I hope you all. Do you see my? Do you see the PowerPoint, or you see my desktop? Desktop.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we can start. So global perspective as a subject. This is what we're gonna talk about today, inshallah, for the primary and lower secondary, and of course we're gonna tackle some parts for the secondary students, as I can see that I have some secondary students are attending with us. So by Cambridge, global perspective is a subject that should be covered over 6 hours, a minimum for each topic. Okay, so the topics are specified by Cambridge and it's there on the website. So these subjects, they are only titles, big titles, that we take them and we make them into subtitles or different topics that can fit for primary, lower secondary, and secondary stage. How do we do this? We will get to this into one of the slides, okay? So by Cambridge, this is what is on their page. This is what's on the website. So it is divided into 3 categories: disease and health, migration, belief systems. Under disease and health, there is conflict and peace, poverty and inequality, law and criminality, tradition and cultures, water and food, agriculture, trade and aid, and so on. So what I'm going to show you now is how I made up a curriculum last year. It was just, taking some of these topics and break them down into subtopics. For example, for this one, I made about 6 topics for the whole year, and each one of them will be covered during a minimum of 6 hours. How we're going to cover it? The students will be exposed to the topic in different perspectives, in different ways. These perspectives must be like in a comparison between locally and globally, or the opposite. We can tackle it from the global perspective first, and then we make the connection with the local connection. So, for example, I can take the grade 2 about rights and responsibilities within the community. So we should take this topic and break it down into three subtopics or fields that the students will be asked to make research, to handle data, to collect data, to question, to interview people, to know and collect everything about this topic under the guidelines I am preparing. Okay. For example, we have here the water in grade 2. We can tackle also water in grade 3, in grade 4. We can, change this order from, the beginning to the middle, from grade 1 to grade 5. Of course, it depends on the level of the students and their understanding, of course. It takes time in the beginning, to be honest. It takes time to get the students out of their comfort zone, the same exactly as us as teachers, because we are used on having a framework by Cambridge or by Pearson or by Oxford. Actually, in this subject, we make up our own framework. We take it, we look at it from different perspectives, and we start giving it to the students and ask them to do all the work most of the time. For example, water in grade 3 or grade 2 or grade 5, it depends. I took it and I broke it down into water cycle and importance of water for living things. And we work on this for maybe 2, 3 lessons. We watch videos, we read books, we collect data. The second one was water surfaces and access to fresh water inequality, which was one, of course, of the main topics, the main titles by Cambridge. So we also tackle this and we build on the previous line, the previous field of research. The third one, and maybe this is, the final goal we were looking at when we were studying about water, like ways to provide clean and fresh water and our responsibilities toward water. So all I do as a teacher is to ask them to build on their prior knowledge first. What do you know about this topic? What do you know about water? Why do we use water for? Why do you think water is important? Do you know what is the percentage of water in your body? Do you know the percentage of the fresh water on earth? And we collect all these data and we start building on what do they know and where I want to take them. I want them to know about water inequality on earth, that not every country has an access to fresh water, that not every country has this equal life of the fancy life of having pools, of taking showers or having a bath. Sometimes we need to think of how we use water locally and globally. The Nile River and the problems happening with the Nahda Dam, we can tackle this, of course, but with older stages and older age group of students. So we start by thinking of the final goal that I want them to reach. Or, for example, what I'm going to assess their understanding as a summative assessment at the end of this topic. So I will find myself knowing where I'm going and I'm creating the path with the students. So we can ask them, what do you want to learn today? What did you collect? What do you know about that? How did you know it? I ask them to make a research over maybe in an early stage, maybe grade 1 or 2, or maybe 3. I give them a specific video and I ask them to collect specific notes from it. Maybe I ask them to make a research. Maybe I ask them to go to the beach or riverbanks and collect data from. See how other people are using water, polluting water, how living things are living in the water, how animals are dealing with the Nile River, and all these things. And I make this in connection with rivers around the world. the dirtiest river on earth, the cleanest river, and what are the reasons, and so on. All of this are my guidance, but not my work. I usually and rarely don't explain to the students. I never stand in front of a board with a marker and tell them this, and that, write it down. No, they should have a free hand. They should watch the video and choose what to collect from the video. I can ask them to do this as a group work. I can ask them to wear the Debono's hat as groups, and each group will take one of the hats. And then we collect all these information as a big one picture, the big one puzzle, piece of puzzle collected by them. So from a line to another, or from a research field to another, I should give them the chance to give feedback to each other, to assess and evaluate each other. And also, they should hear my feedback. And we will get to the feedback and assessment, of course, later tonight. So this, for example, was about the water. So for example, if I'm teaching water to grade 2, I will teach them about the water cycle, but I will teach them also about the water surfaces. I can take them to think about the animals, sea creatures, and how they are different from the ocean to the sea to the river, from the polar zone to the temperate, and so on. I can take them to what will happen if we don't have water at home. Where do water come from? Where does it go after we have used it? And so on. And the more they are older, the deeper I go into the same topic if I want to repeat it. I just need to make sure when I'm building my curriculum, when I'm building my framework, that I'm not repeating myself if I'm repeating the topic with the students, because they will get bored, I will get bored. It will be, like the traditional way of teaching that we all know and we all go about to provide. So this is the most effective way actually to engage the students, to involve them in this learning journey. For example, here I chose another non-scientific topic like the visual arts. Like I can tackle it from traditional traditions and rituals in different cultures. I can tackle this from the perspective of artifact and heirloom, from the family and ancestors, how the traditions, how rituals are in our family, in our country, and different countries. Like in Egypt, it is different from in India with the Diwali and all these things. And in this topic, I can take it even further with the older students to tackle the different religions and different beliefs. I can also, if I'm focusing on visual art, because visual art is part of cultures, of course, that the different types of writing, poetry, how poetry was demonstrated before in the early age of, Shakespeare and all these writers. This is another part of, showing the art as expression, not of course the visual art. So I can also tackle the different art forms, expressions, including dancing, including music, including whatever type of art that the students are interested in. And I can ask them by the end of this topic to choose one of their preferred type of art and express it, and make like an exhibition, or make like, a fair, an art fair, where writers and poets are standing and presenting their artwork, or they're expressing their ideas in a partition, and the others are showing their art pieces and the rest, and etc., etc. Okay, I don't know why I jumped. Now, as I said in the beginning, this is a skills-based subject. So it is based on project, and which is one of the summative assessments and formative assessments ongoing during the teaching topic duration. But the most important thing are the skills. So by Cambridge, it is mentioned on their website that the program develops the skills of research, analysis, evaluation, reflection, collaboration, and communication. It strengthens the links across English as a first or second language, math, science, and ICT. So it is actually very connected to the other subjects because I'm using English to collect my data. I'm using English to finish the written component I am asked to finish in this subject. I'm using math when I'm collecting data and analyzing data. I'm tackling science when I'm working on some scientific inquiries, some scientific research, some bases, so I can make a connection and work in integration with the science teacher in the scientific topic. So we are both working on the same topic, but from the different points, I guess. The ICT starters, why we're tackling ICT starters, because we ask them sometimes to do PowerPoint. We ask them to use some of the website. We actually teach them sometimes citation. This is one of the skills that we need to work on in this subject. So we can ask them to do timeline from specific websites, or they can create their own animation. It depends on their interest and their skills and their age group, of course. Yes, one of my favorite words. It is rather discovered than taught, because this what makes it very engaging for the learners, especially in the secondary stage. uh, the secondary stage, they choose to take this subject. This subject actually will help them be independent, build their self-esteem and self-confidence, will help them to value things that they have and they don't have. It will help them, of course, show their understanding and show their real skills out of the exam-oriented subject that they are working on. And in the same time, it is really guaranteed that they get good marks in this subject, because it has four components in the secondary stage. Two of them are marked internally in the school, and two of them are externally, globally marked. So providing the support to help the students' mindset change from fixed to growth mindset. Actually, it's not just for the students, it is happening to us as teachers too. Why? Because I'm jumping out of my comfort zone. I'm not following someone else's framework or steps. No, I am able to work and differentiate between my students' abilities and interest and skills. I'm providing for each and every student. What do they like to learn? What they will like to know more about? What do they want to know about this subject? And I give them more, and I open paths so they can continue working in it. So the main focus in this subject is on research skills, but in fact, we are working on all the ATS skills, which are the approaches to learning skills, if anyone have heard about it before. What are the ATS skills? They are the thinking skills, the social skills, the communication skills, the self-management skills, and the research skills. So what we really focus on from the skills in this topic, mainly and mostly, are the research skills, which is coming from me asking them, teaching them how to formulate questions, how to observe, how to plan and collect for data, how to organize and interpret data, how to present their research findings, how to show the others what did they learn and what was interesting for them, how they can use it in the future. Actually, I give the chance to each student or each group to do it independently, and then I ask them to share it with the rest of the students, so everyone can complete the missing part from his from his from his project. Assessment. Well, assessment in this project or this topic should be by the end of each topic as a project. We should give the students extra time or if I'm planning for the topic for 6 weeks or 6 hours, as I'm planning for to cover by Cambridge, I should give them an hour or two extra just for their project. Their project can be as simple as storyboard, game board, can be a play, a role play, can be a song, and it is can be as big as creating an NGO, working and helping within the community. It depends on their age and their abilities, of course, but it is, very interesting to find students learning and knowing about how important the water is, and they are taking steps in providing and in stopping polluting water, in helping other cities or villages, poor villages, to have access to fresh water, because we have this problem here in Egypt as we do have it in other countries. So, it is really sometimes amazing to see how the students are taking initiatives to do these acts within the community. And of course, they will need our support and everything we can provide to help them achieve their goal that we helped in creating from the beginning. And this, as simple as can be their assessment. But of course, we should provide the criteria. They should know what they are going to be assessing themselves and others based on. So they should know what are the criteria they are going to work, what they are going to create, what is expected from them. If they add to these criteria, if they add to the rubric they have to follow, well, it will be a better, of course, a better thing for them to show their um, independence and responsibility. If they stick with it, so you know that you are reaching with them your goal and your point at the end. But over the 6 hours we are trying to cover, we prefer to have some formative assessments. So the formative assessments will make us be sure first that they understood and they got this point, so I can go to the next point. I can reach my take my second step if I'm done with this one. So I will know by the end of the topic that they covered everything that was necessary from my point of view and theirs to reach our goal. Okay. So the feedback. I, as a teacher, it is very important to give my students the feedback. It is very important to tell them, well done, because you did this, and that. It is important to tell them, I think you should review this part. I think you should go and read more about that. You know what? I was just finding out about this topic and I saw this video. You better watch it, and you know what? Collect any information you think they are interesting and come and discuss it with me. The feedback here is just giving them, the push they may need. They're in the beginning, especially, they don't feel that confident enough that they are working on the right track, that they are doing the right thing. So my feedback as a teacher will support and will correct the path they are going through. The feedback can be from me to the learner, can be from the learner to his peer if they are working in couples, can be from a group to one presenter, can be from one presenter to a group. It can come in all shapes and colors, as we say. So, but trust me, it is very important to keep them up to date with what they are doing. And the, all these points I'm focusing on the lower grades, lower secondary and the primary. And in the secondary stage, it is more independent and it is more, the student responsibility with the teacher. They are working like peers. Like it is different, from the primary stage when the teacher is still the teacher, the guidance, the facilitator, and the student is the one who is, following some of the steps and choosing others. It is different, of course, in the secondary stage because mostly we choose together what we are going to work on. We, guide each other what we're going to do, where we're going to go, and so on. Okay. So, any questions I can open now? my, I cannot find it. I'm sorry. I'll have to stop sharing, but this is the final slide in my presentation. I have prepared 2 videos, of course, but I would like to take any of your questions before we go to the next step. Your mics are open if you would like.
Hi. You mentioned something about 2 hours being assessed internally, and sorry, not 2 hours, two
Two
assessments or
components.
two components. Yes,
Yes.
assessed in school and two components by Cambridge.
Yeah.
Could you please clarify?
This is in the secondary stage. There are 4 components for the global perspectives. There is the group work component, there is the written component, and there's also the video one and the research itself. So 2 of them, I can't remember really which 2 of them now, but 2 of them, and it's all on the website, by the way. So 2 of them will be marked in school, and the grades will be sent abroad to be added to the other 2 components. And the other 2 will be sent as they are abroad to be marked to Cambridge, of course, to be marked, and they will be later sent in with the rest of the grades for the rest of the subjects, like the AS and all these things.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I would like to ask you if the part of how do I create my own framework was clear enough. Ms. Rasha?
Sorry, your question, you were asking about whether it was clear.
Yes, about how to create your own curriculum.
Now, yes, I have a clear idea about it now. Yes,
Mhm.
it needs a lot of work on my part first because I need
Yes,
to find the videos, the right material to present for the students, to guide them through the syllabus. Will need a lot of preparation on my behalf at first, and then I guess it will be smooth.
exactly. Yes. The biggest part and the hardest part will be the planning, because
Yes.
you are designing your own content. You are choosing the materials, but choosing the materials and resources actually is the easiest part, because the internet is full of good websites like Britannica, like the Bank of Knowledge. Many websites are full of resources for us. It just depends. And you know what, when you ask the students to make their own research, you will find out and discover with them new websites, like what, and links. Because one of my students actually this year, like 2 weeks ago, just taught me about one of the website that she used, which is I didn't know about before, like Potun. She used it to create her own video about a specific thing, and it
I
was
heard
actually,
about it.
excuse me.
It's like creating a comic strip or
Yeah.
a cartoon. Yes, yes,
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, and it was interesting for me and for the other students, and it motivated them actually to do the same. It was interesting, and she was in grade 5, I guess, so she wasn't, it was her choice, and she
Exactly.
learned about it, and it was amazing actually. Others chose to make
Mhm.
the PowerPoints in the same class. You're giving them the option to choose how they are going to present their understanding, how they're going to use it. I remember in one of the schools with the high school students, we were talking about elections and voting and all these things, but it wasn't here in Egypt. So, the presentation turned out as if we are sitting in the parliament, and they are discussing and they are expressing their point of view and they are defending themselves. So it was really good also, giving them the chance to express themselves and feel the responsibility of it. So one of the very important points I decided to do this webinar, not just because I know that we need to collaborate with other. The voice is lagging. The voice is lagging.
Like role play.
Your voice was lagging. Can you repeat, please?
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt your point.
The voice is lagging. The voice is lagging so much. Okay, everyone can hear me, right? So until Miss Rasha is back. So I just wanted to express
I'm sorry,
how
I got
effective.
disconnected. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So I was about to tell them how I found out that, teaching the students in that way when they are actually learning by themselves and enjoying what they're doing was very effective and very engaging with them. It, built a lot of points in their personalities, and it changed their mindset from a fixed mindset to growth mindset. It is actually, give them, yeah, the thinking skills and tools that they can use independently in life in an authentic topic they are working on, and they are able now to make the connection between locally and global issues, and they are able to find out solutions to it. So you had something to say, Miss Rasha, before?
Yes, I had two questions. The first one, whether Cambridge itself provides like websites to refer to in terms of research. Okay, sorry, my connection is unstable again.
Okay.
Um, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes. Whether Cambridge provides subject for the other crime subject, there
Mhm.
must be websites that the students might refer to. Or is it entirely open for their research skills? They can just write crime or water, and whatever pops out, they can use. That's my first question.
Okay. So for your first question, actually, Cambridge doesn't provide a specific website or specific resources for this subject, but of course they support, they suggest, they say you might use this, this might be useful, and so on, because it is a very open subject. It is in connection with all the different subjects that they are learning in their stages. So, but they always recommend, like Britannica, they always recommend any local bank of knowledge, for example. Uh,
Okay.
there are only recommendations for this subject, but it is of an official IGCSE subject now. It is starting in November, no, in June in India officially, and
Uh-huh.
later next year, inshallah, it will be all over the world as a new subject. So they are just, teaching them from the early primary till the lower secondary until it is an IGCSE and A level subject.
Nice. And how do you have your students present their research? You said one thing is PowerPoint presentation. What else can you suggest?
Well, it depends on the age group, of course, and their own skills, the not just the computer skills, but their presentation skills. And this is something, of course, we work on during our learning journey. So they can just present or read their research to the students. They can make the PowerPoint, as we mentioned. They can make a storyboard expressing the problem and how they thought about it and how they solved it. They can make a project to help someone, to help a place to, provide, as I mentioned earlier, to provide water for a poor village, to make a bake sale, to, make recycling bins and project as they are where they are.
Mhm.
So the way they present their project is actually up to the school, to the teacher, and of course we hear from them. We see what is suitable, what we can do. because of the pandemic, of course. Yes, one of the very important things, not just watching videos and reading books and researching and making research. No, it's taken to field trips, taking the students to field trips and ask them to explore themselves, collect everything that they can notice, collect anything that is new to them, or interesting or related to what we're working on. um, you know take them on virtual trips, because it is a bit hard now to go to field trips. Provide the field the virtual trips is one of the very amazing, effective things. So last year, before this pandemic, actually, I took some of my students, one of the classes, to a blind boys' school. I was
Oh,
teaching
that's
them
really
about
nice.
the importance of the NGOs, and in the same time, we were working on the gratitude in SEL. So it was very
You know
touching.
that there is an actual museum where you only take a tour or the experience in this museum while
Yeah.
you are completely blind,
uh,
and it depends on your touching and hearing skills. So that would be a nice thing to take your students.
yeah, that would be
It's
amazing.
virtual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, opening their eyes on these things, on the virtual uh, places, and give them the chance to experience what the others are going through and living with, is one of the very important ways to teach them about a specific topic. So if I'm going to again share my screen with the PowerPoint. In this part, these are the references. In this part, if we look at it, we have here the weather, for example, and the connection with the natural disasters. We also have the guns are to protect or kill. We have here, human rights. We have, of course, NGO somewhere. I don't know where. So from the NGO, we can teach them about the human rights. We can teach them about why do we have the UNICEF, the refugees, the many things that we can tackle with them and take them to fields. And all of these things are not imaginary. They are not based on something that we imagine. No, they are authentic. They are much very much in connection. Someone is playing. Liane, stop playing. They are in connection with our real life.
Brilliant. That's really nice.
Yeah,
May I ask another question, or will that
sure.
be too much?
I'm here for all the questions from everyone, and
So
then I
you
will
were
share
you
a
were
video to show
discussing
you the
something.
effect of this subject and the way we approach it with the students on them.
Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank
You were discussing the formative assessment, and you
you.
said that you should apply it because you need to take a step and move to another topic. So how do you assess the students? Is it an actual test paper, pen on paper, and they have to study for it, or do they present, as we said, a PowerPoint or research, or they do it like
Mm,
the
mm.
skills, exactly as the skills you said before, a storyboard or a project, or is it an exam?
Okay, so first I do the formative assessment to move from a step to another in the same topic. I never
Hmm.
go to the next topic until I do my summative assessment and make sure
Ah,
that my
okay,
kids have some understanding or a deep understanding of the current topic. So for
okay.
the formative assessments, it can be as easy as asking them to do a Venn diagram, you know, as easy as writing a simple paragraph, making a timeline, as simple as that. And of course, if you think that you want to do it as a quiz, yes, you can do it, of course. But
Uh,
it
could
is
we
very
leave that to the
important.
summative?
No, I'm talking about the formatives.
The quiz, can we,
Yes.
for the summative, it's mainly depending on quizzes, right? Or,
Well, it will not be the only component, because the most important thing is the project one.
uh-huh.
So maybe your project can be asking them to create a quiz.
Okay.
you know, it's asking them to create like a Jeopardy game, which is kind of, you know, questions and answers, and each group can create his own Jeopardy game and they play it with each other. I create with my group, I
Okay.
create it and give it to the other group to play it, and we will see which one will, you know, know more most of the answers.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So it's more like, you know, out of the box thing. Yes,
Mhm.
if we want to have a quiz with, you know, questions and answers, which is the responded answers style, yes, we can do it, but it is, you know, it will take more focus from me as a teacher and planning to create and design the questions in a way to assess their understanding and not the knowledge. Of course, knowledge is very important, but the most important thing in this subject is to assess the understanding,
Mhm.
not the knowledge.
And again, it's hard to create a quiz or a test when you do not have um, certain information. It's from everywhere. You know, they have researched
Exactly.
information.
Exactly. That's why when you create your quiz, you need to depend on, you need to design it on the thinking skills, not
Yes.
on the knowledge, you know.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
understood. Thank you.
So I can show you now the video I have prepared just to show you some of the students. I wish I had the full time to finish my own video with my own students, but actually it was a bit hard, so I wasn't able to finish it. It was a tough and very busy week. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to do this, but inshallah, I'll prepare it and I'll share it with you. But this is now for us as teachers to know how more about the subject and its effect on the students.
Welcome to Global Perspectives, an introductory course in sociology. Do you ever wonder how our society influences us? What our role in the society is? How we, as individuals and groups, are shaping and are shaped by our environments? How political, economic, and cultural institutions and organizations affect our behaviors and those of others? What global factors affect our immediate and national environments? These are some of the questions that sociologists have been exploring for quite some time. Sociology provides new ways of looking at the world through the exploration of the organization of society and the connections between people and their surroundings. In this course, you will learn key sociological concepts and theories that are essential to understanding our increasingly globalized world. Globalization is defined as the intercontinental circulation of economic, political, and cultural structures, processes, and products. In this course, we discuss historical and contemporary events and policies that contribute to globalization and how these affect and connect the lives of individuals and groups around the globe. We pay particular attention to migration, the movement of people between local, national, and international regions. Why do people move from place to place? What drives people away from their homes and places of birth, and what draws them to other destinations? What do these movements suggest about the relationship between place and identity? To answer some of these questions, we focus on aspects of the Canadian immigration. For example, we explore national immigration trends and patterns over time. We also consider political and economic factors that influence Canadian immigration and the relationship between these factors and people's varied interpretations of Canada's national multicultural identity. Through course lessons, activities, and assignments, you will be able to analyze the role of sociology as a way of seeing connections between global factors and immediate realities. Let's get started.
So I hope this can give a bit of, ideas on how to work on and what is this subject talking about. Anyone has any other questions? Okay, I think we are all on the WhatsApp group for the global perspectives, and some of my students are watching. So I'm with you in school. Feel free to approach me or to text me anytime to, work with us, work together on the topics. Okay. Yes, Ms. Rasha, inshallah, we will get the recording, but I need to get back to the school first and ask if I can post it and share it with the other teachers. I can write my email, of course, in the chat box if you have any inquiries for this subject, or you are struggling with how to create this, how to tackle this topic, how to form my formative assessment. I understand that it was a quick webinar. I just wanted to offer my help whenever you need it, but the details are to come more, inshallah, in the future. So whenever you need anything, we are on the WhatsApp groups, I guess, together on the Cambridge one. This is my email. You can send me anytime, and inshallah, you will find the recording on the Yahoo, sorry, on the YouTube, or I'll be sending it privately on the WhatsApp groups. Any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Yeah, I'm not tired, and we still have time. We still have a lot of time. So, any other questions? Please don't be shy. Okay. It was a pleasure being with you and presenting my school.
Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Inshallah, hope to collaborate with you soon.
Inshallah.
We can also make, these meetings between the schools to exchange experience and knowledge between us and between the learners too.
That would be a very good idea. I'm looking forward, inshallah.
Yes, Miss Asma, there is a group for the global perspective, if it's possible. So you can email me, and inshallah, I will let you in this group. Okay. Guys, for any help with building up your topics, with designing your assessments, ideas, field trips, please do not hesitate to contact me. We are here to help each other, to learn from each other, and to learn and cooperate together. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope to see you, inshallah.